This week on Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure,
we're taking a look at the film career of Harrison Ford.
Punch It! Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck.
And welcome to another episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. Before we start on our topic today, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's been watching our past episodes and also subscribing. Our subscriber numbers are going up. If you want to subscribe, click on the button below. Oh, hang on. Look what I've got.
Have we hit the magic numbers yet so we can open these old boxes of cereal?
Not yet, but almost. So remember, 100 subscribers. Actually, this is turned from a solid lump to, I don't know what's happening in there. But,
and 1,000 subscribers, you get a 30-year-old box of cereal. So either the 10-year-old box of cereal or, 12 years old.
12 years, yeah.
12 or 30.
Yeah.
It all depends on you.
That's right. But thank you for those who have been watching and especially the comments as well. We really appreciate all those. It's fantastic. We're talking about our favorite and many people's favorite actors of all time. The one, the only, Harrison Ford.
Who?
You know, that guy, Harry. The guy who's been in that space movie.
Oh, the guy from Hanover Street. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And the Frisco Kid. That guy.
Yeah,
so,
I know
Harrison Ford. And the reason is there do we need a reason to talk about Harrison Ford? Not really, but.
Well, since the restraining order's been lifted, I don't think there's a problem. So
that's right. And since, as of this recording, when on Monday, July 13th, is Harrison Ford's 78th birthday. So we thought, well, let's celebrate his career and take a look at some of his films and our favorite films. I mean, I think you can guess what a few of them are by looking around.
Absolutely.
So I assume, Mitch, for you, the first time you encountered Harrison Ford was maybe that you realized Harrison Ford was probably Star Wars. But what about, was it any earlier than that? Did you, were you a big Dead Heat on merry-go-round fan?
No. Considering that came out the year I was born, 1966, so I was not capable of understanding a movie, but there is a slim chance that I might have seen Harrison Ford on some television shows like Ironside, reruns of Gunsmoke, Love American Style, which was a popular show. I know my sisters always watched that show, and he was a bit player for Universal Studios back then. Not a bit player, I'm sorry. He was under contract, and he would be there, and whatever shows Universal was doing, Harrison Ford would get a tap on the shoulder, and he'd pop up from time to time. So, yeah, I probably saw him, but as a kid, no, it was 77 seeing Star Wars, and I remember reading about him in Starlog magazine, but they actually called him Harrison Ward, D-A-R-D, like Burt Ward.
Oh.
And I remember, I still have that book. I think it's issue 6 or 7 of Starlog. And if you find a copy, you look, and they call him Harrison Ward. So I didn't know what was going on until we saw the movie. But the second I saw that movie, he was my favorite character, Han Solo.
Well, that's interesting because it's not like, I mean, a lot of people probably think, Star Wars was really where, he did explode onto the scene. But you've got to remember before that, he played Bob Falfer in American Graffiti, which was 1973, I think.
Yeah, 73. Yep.
So, quite a few years earlier. I mean, he did have a smaller role, obviously, even maybe, I wouldn't even call it a supporting role, maybe a minor supporting role.
There was a lot of characters in that movie, though. So he was an ensemble cast, if you will.
Yes. And that's where he, because when he started as a contract player, I remember after Star Wars came out, I thought, this guy, I want to be Harrison Ford. So I read as much as I could. I remember searching out, trying to find Dead Heat on a merry-go-round. I never got to see. I just saw the clips later on YouTube.
Changing the Mr. Ellis. Paging Mr. Ellis. Paging Mr. Ellis.
Boy? Bob Ellis? Robert Ellis, room 72.
No, sir. Charles Ellis. Room 607.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Paging Mr. Ellis. Mr. Ellis. Paging Mr.
And
Ellis.
I remember the story, him saying that he was told that he was never going to be a star because
The bag of groceries thing.
That's
Yeah,
right,
he told
saying,
that
you know,
story.
Tony Curtis, that's a star. You should act
Oh.
like a star. And he goes, I thought I should act like I'm delivering groceries or
Yeah.
you know, delivering a message. So
And they fired him.
they did. But
Yeah.
and then he decided to become a carpenter. So he's a
Yeah.
self-taught carpenter as well.
Right.
To help supplement obviously his income. He wasn't he wasn't making it big.
Yeah, it
Well,
worked for
okay, well-
Jesus. So, you know, you never know.
That's true. Whatever happened to him? I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't know if he was
Waiting
under
for something.
contract. I don't think he was under contract for Universal. But
That's right. That's right.
well,
But
he's okay. I think he got a band or something.
that's
A rock band.
anyway. Anyways, so with Harrison Ford, so he was working. He was also
Yeah.
a carpenter. He did some high profile works. I know he did the Sergio
Studio
Mendes.
for Sergio Mendes, yes.
That's right.
And
The
Peter Tork from the Monkees. He worked on his recording studio. Yes, he was the carpenter to the stars out in Laurel Canyon, I believe, out
That's
there.
right.
He'd be around. He charged good money too. It wasn't cheap.
Oh well, I bet if you've got Harrison Ford, I mean, even before Harrison Ford was, you know.
But I think
Harrison
the
Ford.
the funniest story I think I heard him say. Well, I don't know if this is real or anything anymore, but I don't think he would know either. But something about when he was doing the Sergio Mendes thing, I read that he would get the books from the library about how to build certain things, and he got caught being up on top of the library with the book, reading it, like how to, I don't know, make a joist or something in a roof or something. But I don't know. But I did hear he was learning it as he went along.
Yes.
To quote one of his famous characters, he was making it up as he went. But he did a lot of stuff too. He had a lot of like everybody. He had a lot of I don't want to call them goofball jobs, but he worked in like a Sears and Roebuck or like a department store selling paintings. Like they had like a home decor section.
Yes.
I think he talked about selling that. I know he worked as a cook, a cook or something, and he had a man of many talents. He had a lot of different jobs, like we all do when we're younger.
Yeah.
Because he had a wife and 2 kids, and he was trying to put food on the table and all that stuff.
That's
So
right.
you know,
The table which he probably built. So
you do what you do. Yeah.
that's right. And then along came Star Wars, of course.
Well, no, you're skipping over stuff. I mean,
Well, I thought we were going. Okay, go, please.
No, I was going to say he was in a lot of other high-profile parts besides Bob Falfa. He was also in The Conversation,
Well,
which
yes.
was Francis Ford Coppola's
That's
movie
right.
with Gene Hackman. Yeah. Again, he's right up there with Robert Duvall as this corporate guy trying to get Cindy Williams and her husband, the guy from, is it Frederick Forrest? That played the guy they were chasing after?
I think so.
Yeah. I was going to say Michael Cimino. No, not Michael Cimino. I was going to say the guy from Godfather that played Fredo. He's not the guy. No, that's Casella. That's Casella. But he's in Dog Day Afternoon. It's Frederick Forrest, and yeah, Harrison Ford hires Gene Hackman to do some eavesdropping, if you will, or snooping around because they want to get some dirt on whatever he did to what's his name? They played Robert Duvall. They want to that guy. Anyway, Harrison Ford was really good in that movie. If you haven't seen it, go out and
very
see it.
small part. Also, I suppose if we fast forward to after Star Wars, he also.
But wait, so we just blew over Star Wars. That's
No.
it. Biggest movie the guy was in. Biggest movie of all time.
All I'm saying is that we're doing. No. I was just saying if we're talking cameo roles,
Yes.
even after Star Wars, big star Harrison Ford, Han Solo,
Right.
exploded. Bigger than Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher,
Right.
all that.
Well,
Well, at that time, I would say he still
Yeah,
he appeared in
he was
cameo.
working a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. He appeared as a cameo role in
Apocalypse Now.
playing
Colonel Lucas.
G. Lucas.
That's right. I knew it was. I don't know what the rank was, but I remember it was Lucas on his little thing.
That's right. That's right. So he was a very active actor after that. Of course, Star Wars. What's not to love about Star Wars? He was
Actually, go back.
Yeah.
Did I send you the clip of him in some TV movie called The Possessed, where he plays a school teacher and he's working at an all girls college or something like that?
No.
Oh, it's actually pretty good because it's funny knowing that eventually he's going to be Indiana Jones, and it looks a lot like the Indiana Jones classroom scenes, except he's trying to show people, these spiders.
So, spiders are arachnida. Arachnid, specifically. Web spiders catch and wind their strands around their victims and mummify them before they have them for dinner. Some even devour their own. But spider's not a bad fellow. In fact, in many ways, he's a truly extraordinary creature. Now, and here happens to be one particular example. I got $5 for whoever will come up here and let him out of the jar. What? No takers, huh?
And he's like, oh, look at these arachnids and how scary they are and all that. And the girls are freaking out. And he's having an affair with one of the young students. And then he comes to an evil ending because she's possessed, hence the title. And she sets him afire or something, like Firestarter.
Oh, yes.
With Drew Barrymore. Yeah.
I'll have to look. I haven't seen.
You did see the clips. You don't have to watch the whole movie because it's a really bad movie. But they have like Harrison Ford's little bit. And it's kind of fun to watch him because it's a lot of the stuff he does as Indiana Jones is in that movie.
You can see the
beginnings
of Indy, his other I suppose iconic role there. So
well, what's funny? Yeah. No, wait. I know we do this. We step over and forgive us out there because Ed and I are both going at 33 record speed, and we're going real fast, long play records on a 78 speed. But no one knows what that means unless they're old.
8-track. Let's talk about 8-tracks.
It's like when you listen to a podcast and you put it on 2.5, and everybody talks like this.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was going to say is he was not the first choice for Han Solo, and there's a whole story behind that. There was Christopher Walken. They interviewed so many different actors, and then it worked with Carrie Fisher. Mark Hamill was one group, and the other group I think was Terry Nunn. It might have been William Catt and Kurt Russell, maybe. There was just a lot of different combinations of the actors, and they liked what Harrison Ford could do.
Yep.
And he ended up becoming Han Solo. Plus, he had done a lot of the readings. Like you said, he was working at George Lucas's place, and he got asked to do line reading for the part of Han Solo. Or he would just test with the other actors, and he'd been doing it for so long that it's like he knew the stuff like the back of his hand. So they said, hey, that guy is there. But Lucas was very hesitant about reusing the same actors because he didn't want to become like Scorsese or Coppola using Pacino or De Niro. He didn't want to. He wanted fresh faces. But Ford was the best one of the lot. So that kind of set him up.
And I think it also helped that his role in American Graffiti was quite, minor as well. He had that big cowboy hat,
Yep.
Probably people didn't even, connect the two dots sometimes when they see American Graffiti. So yeah, Star Wars blew up, and then often you see actors go from strength to strength, but Harrison Ford sort of chose some interesting projects, I suppose. Not including the Star Wars Holiday Special, which he was contractually
that's evil. You wouldn't say that.
To do. But there was in 1979, there was quite a few. Well, we had Force 10 from Navarone, which is one of my favorites.
Robert Shaw, yeah, that's on my list.
Right. We had
Heroes with Henry Winkler and Sally Field.
That's right. And there was the Frisco Kid with Gene Wilder, which is another one of my.
That's a really good role for him. Yeah, he's very funny in that one. Yeah, he doesn't get a chance. He doesn't get a chance to be comedic enough. He's very funny. He has a lot of facial gestures. He works very well when it comes to comedy and stuff.
Yes.
Even in Indiana Jones and the Star Wars picture, sometimes he'll give the look and his eyes will open up, or he'll do a shock
Then
face.
we'll do it real quiet, like I remember.
Yeah.
All those little instances. I think were.
Or even when he sees the snakes, when he gets that like grimace, when the
Yes.
snakes, the cobra's looking at him in the face, and he gets his eyes when he does one of these. So he's a very comedic actor, and not a lot of people.
He got
give
to
him credit.
flex his comedy chops a little bit later in the 80s and I
Yeah.
suppose in the 90s and beyond as we get to those. But so they're like Heroes and Frisco Kid, Force 10 from Navarone weren't hits.
No,
Hanover Street.
not a chance. No.
So I remember, was it the headline for the review for Hanover Street or for Force 10 where he goes, Han Solo goes to war. I remember that and go, oh, that sounds cool.
I remember, I think a headline said Hanover Street dead end. So, it wasn't looked upon fondly. It was with Christopher Plummer, and I believe, is
Leslie
it Leslie
Ann
Ann Warren or
Down?
Down? Leslie Ann Down,
Yeah.
And we do a lot of research for this show.
It's all up here, people.
It's all based on our knowledge, if you haven't figured it out. So that's why these things are really, really slow. But no, it was interesting. But then, of course, he came back in 1980, and we already did a show on that, The Empire Strikes Back, 40 years ago this year, where Han Solo really emerged as one of the big favorites out of the whole, franchise there. And plus, we didn't know what happened to him. He got, turned into a block of carbonite, that was the end of it. And everyone panicked, and we didn't know what was going to happen to him. But
I think
then
we weren't used to it at that stage of a movie.
No, I remember watching
that sort of movie going.
I was furious. I was like, "What the hell? I spent this money and time, and I want to see an ending of a movie, and I don't know what this cliffhanger nonsense is."
That's right.
And then, of course, he came back a year later, and I told you before when we did our Raiders of the Lost Ark anniversary show, I didn't even know that was him.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend who went to school with me said, "Hey, that's Han Solo." I go, "It is? He's got a different haircut and everything."
And facial hair. It's funny. It's funny how that could.
I didn't recognize him.
I think that's just it just shows what a good actor and
versatile actor he is.
That's right. Yeah. And I feel like Harrison Ford doesn't get enough credit for his acting ability.
We're going to talk about that after we go through some of the movies. Let's just go through the catalog, and then we'll talk about that, because I've had some interesting conversations about that as I tap my pencil.
I know.
I'm getting mad. It's a little sign there.
So after Raiders Lost Ark came in 1982, Blade Runner, which is again wasn't a hit.
No.
It's only through time has it become a cult.
So I'll tell you
classic.
It was a rated R movie, and I had to take my mom because I couldn't get a ticket because I was a kid. So my mom took me, and we saw the movie. And you're always like embarrassed whenever there's any type of sexual scenes, and you get your parent next to you. But when the film ended, because I was kind of like, it's okay, it's interesting. It was very visually stunning to look at, but the story was kind of flat,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mom saying, they're going to be talking about this movie 20, 30, 40 years from now. I said, why do you say that? She goes, because it's on a different level. The storytelling's not the same as what we come to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And she just said, it's not Star Wars, it's not Raiders, it's not action-packed, it's a different story. And I was like, I didn't like it, Mom. And she's like, well, you watch. This is going to be around forever. And she was right. I don't know how Mom Hollywood there, my mom Joan, knows these things, but she knew that they did. And Blade Runner was a classic. I mean, might have been because of the visual storytelling, but so many people were influenced by that movie.
Oh, yes.
And I know Harrison Ford didn't like it when he was making the movie, because I remember they were on the set. There was a documentary at the time they were making the movie. They showed the making of Pennies from Heaven with Steve Martin. And then they showed the making of Blade Runner. And the guy asked Harrison Ford, he goes, can I ask you a stupid question? And I remember Harrison Ford, who's always got a very sardonic, cynical sense of humor, which I really like, because we all have that. Guy goes, can I ask you a silly question? He goes, yeah, I'll give you a silly answer. He's like, do you mind being a space toy at a 5 and dime store or a Kresge's? He's like, no, I don't mind it at all. I don't take it personally, because they were trying to give him jabs back then.
Yeah.
Kind of almost like what Sylvester Stallone had to go through, because you become this actor in this really, really successful, financially successful, critically fan base, Star Wars, Raiders.
Mhm.
So now they're taking their shots at you.
Yep.
They're like, well, it's not you they're coming to see. They're coming to see the spectacle. They're coming to see Star Wars. They're coming to see Raider. It's not Harrison Ford. So don't think for a minute it's all you. It's the toys. It's the Chewbacca's. It's the robots and stuff, which has got to be a kind of insult to the actor that does that. Because look, we've seen a lot of crappy movies, Ice Pirates, Battle Beyond the Stars. There were some good actors in there, but they just don't.
Yeah,
it doesn't work. They have special effects. They have capable directors or whatever, but the story's not there. So you can't just always chalk it up to, oh, it's just a circus act. It's just a lot of lights and flashing things that are, making the audience look at the pretty pictures or something,
Yes.
It's the actors. And I think that's reasoning why Raiders is better than a King Solomon's Mines or a High Road to China.
Mhm.
Star Wars is better than those other movies I mentioned to you, because they're really good actors.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, we're not doing a Mark Hamill retrospect, but there's very few actors that could go out there and do their entire scenes with a rubber puppet.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it every week with you, but God knows.
My secret. Hang on, I'll pull up.
No, but I'm just saying it's not
agree.
easy. It's not easy because there's nothing to play off of. You're not. There's no reaction. All about acting, and you could tell me this because you do this for a living. It's reacting to the other person's thing. So you say something dreadful, and I have to respond in kind, and then you have to respond back to my fear. Like you just told me I have 3 days to live, and I'm like, oh, and they're like, well, that's okay. All that comes into play with these movies. If you're not good at what you do, it's gonna. Or if you don't believe it, because I'm not going to say an actor like Richard Thomas wasn't a good actor. He's a good actor. But in Battle Beyond the Stars, it didn't work. I couldn't tell you why, But why does Star Wars and Raiders and all these other Harrison Ford movies work when Clint Eastwood, Robert Urich didn't work? Or there's something about his, what you want to say, charisma? You want to say his star power?
I mean, we've said this on the IndyCast before that Harrison Ford's got this everyman quality. He's not like you and me necessarily, but we aspired. He's the Jimmy Stewart of modern day movies, where people can relate to him. So he's believable in what he does. He's not.
Would you say it's not because he doesn't have the greatest movie star looks? I mean, he's a nice looking guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's kind of got the he's weirdest face nose thing and the scar.
I agree. He's not he's
not haunting houses, but he's not on the cover of I don't know what.
He's been on the cover of a lot of things, but
I was gonna say he's not on the cover of GQ, but I think he's been on.
He was. In fact, do I have that here? No, I
don't.
Well,
he's not. Okay, we'll say he's not Richard Gere.
That's right.
But then again, Richard Gere's not Richard Gere. He's not Paul Newman. There you go, Paul Newman. Yeah. Everybody's agreed. Paul Newman's a handsome guy. Bang. Harrison Ford's handsome, but he's not like
conventionally. He's again.
Maybe he's old. He's the everyman guy.
And I think that's why
that's an insult to every man out there that says, "Hey, basically, you're pretty homely. You're an ugly bastard."
Well, anyway, and that's why I think people can relate to him, and they like. They find him compelling to watch in certain films. Not every film, unfortunately, because it's not just as you said. You can have fantastic actor.
Blade Runner didn't work. I don't know what happened.
Well, I think
it's. Why do you think it didn't work?
I feel, well, maybe it was the time. I don't know. After maybe we were used to film. I mean, Alien. Obviously with Ridley Scott was that darker sort
of
guy, and everything like that. But Empire Strikes Back, which was
Outland with Sean Connery. Peter Hyams. I love that movie. I saw that. It was High Noon in Space. If people don't remember it, basically, I saw it a couple times. It just didn't take off. I don't know.
Saturn 3 with Farrah Fawcett and
Kirk Douglas. That bombed horribly. Now, again, you're not going to say Kirk Douglas, God rest his soul, is a bad actor. He's not. He's a great actor.
But again, it's the script, it's the material, it's the way it's shot, and timing. I think,
when
I'll
it came
say,
out, yeah.
yeah, I'll say it. One of the best films, I think, sort of blockbuster movies is well, there's two: Lone Ranger, which is great fun, and also John Carter of Mars. John Carter,
Yeah, you like that one.
fantastic
Yeah.
film, but it was either because of the timing
Or the marketing or the way they
I think it was
sold it.
probably the marketing, but and that's a whole nother story. But sometimes it's just doesn't work, and hopefully it'll get an appreciation later on, which is a small comfort for the people doing who are working, because no one goes out to make a bad film, even
Well, that Fantastic Four movie that Roger Corman they did, but that's another.
that's
another podcast.
That's another show. That's a whole.
It is.
Show.
I've talked to those people because that has an Indiana Jones connection, but
yes,
but two times. We're off topic, Ed. Get it back.
We're trying to
Bring
keep
it
this
back.
quick today.
So he comes back to Return of the Jedi,
yeah,
and that's his last appearance as Han Solo. Some people say
he said he wanted Han Solo to die. Everyone knows that story, but
yeah. And then Han Solo wasn't the Han Solo we knew. He was funny, but came out of that carbonite a little. I don't know.
Yeah,
he wasn't as ruthless as he used to be. You know what I'm saying? No. But then again, that whole movie has other problems going on too. But again, it's a fun movie, but it's not one of the best Star Wars movies.
No. Well, again, we'll talk about that probably if we're still doing this in 2023.
We'll do the 40th anniversary.
That's right.
But then he comes back into Temple of Doom.
And again, the good thing with Temple of Doom, again, showing Harrison Ford is just not doing a cookie cutter sort of, sequel.
No.
It's quite different. It's a prequel. Okay. It's darker. It's quite a lot darker, actually. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they made PG-13 because of that movie. Right. Did they come up with a new rating in Australia too?
I think we had it. I've got my Australian one sheet of Temple of Doom, which has got that unique art. I'll put a picture up of it. I think it's PG. I don't know if we had PG-13. I think it was just PG.
Well, the movie,
I remember we had NRC up to that point. Not recommend. I always laughed that Star Wars was NRC, not recommended for children. So I think.
Well, how old are we talking about? Like 3?
Well, yeah, I think it's like maybe 5 and under or something like that.
Oh.
Anyway, but after Temple of Doom, which was a huge success, 1985. This is Witness. Which is where he got an Academy Award nomination for the role.
That's right.
Of John Ford. I remember seeing that many times. It was quite
I did too. Ed's got like merchandise. See, I didn't think they merchandise that. I didn't think you got a John Book action figure. You wind him up and he goes to a barn.
With his barn play set.
I was gonna say he goes to a barn raising or something there.
No, all I've got is I was gonna say after with Witness came out, there was you in America had TV Guide or have TV.
Yeah, we
Guide.
did.
We had and still do have TV Week, and TV Week used to bring out posters. So this was the TV Week poster. This was the hang on, I'll see it. There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Bonus pinup. And then we've got on the other side.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I never saw that before. Maybe that's because Peter Weir was a local boy, eh?
Well, that's true. He's an Aussie. So John Book, that was playing this police detective, going to
Amish country.
Yeah, Amish country. Was a huge success.
Yeah.
And he got nominated for an Academy Award. His only nomination.
I know. I remember seeing that movie again. I'm going to say it opened in February. I'm pretty sure it opened in February. And I remember walking out. I always like hearing what other people say as you walk out of the theater. I remember this older gentleman that was there with his wife, and he goes, "What an unusual movie. It's very complicated, like a Chinese puzzle." And I'm like, what does that mean? How is this a complicated story? Because the hero didn't end up with the woman character at the end. There was no way they were going to end up together. I don't know what this guy was expecting. Like, she's going to give up being an Amish person, and he's going to give up the police force. I thought it was two ships that pass in the night, and
Yeah.
they, for a brief moment, they meet each other and all that. You couldn't do a sequel to it. God knows he's done a sequel to so many of his other movies. I don't want to see Witness 2, you know?
Witness 2, two witness, two
Saw
army.
it again. Yeah.
I don't know.
This not, no, Samuel's back, and he's looking for trouble.
That's
And,
right. Lucas, it's funny because I always have a chuckle. We watched Inception the other day, and there's Lucas Haas.
I always remember him from being in Mars Attacks.
Oh, yes. Oh,
With
with
Natalie
the headphone
Portman.
with his grandmother. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. That's him.
That's right.
Of course, Danny Glover's in that movie.
Yes.
And
I
another,
replay. Danny Glover replaced my character as
one of your co-stars, Ed.
That's right.
Danny Glover is in that movie. But I was going to say one unique actor. Actually, I shouldn't say that because when we talk about the career of Harrison Ford, there's also two other actors we have to mention now and then that appear in multiple Harrison Ford movies. Angus McGinnis,
Yes.
who was in Star Wars. He was in Witness, and he's got a small role in Force 10 from Navarone.
Actually, he does, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yes.
And I was going to say William Hookins
Yes.
is the other actor who I'm thinking of course, is in Raiders as Colonel Musgrove.
Yes.
Yeah. Then he's Porkins.
Yes.
But he also has a part in Hanover Street. William Hookins is in Hanover Street. I'm pretty sure he's one of the pilots.
And
anyway.
Not to mention Batman, Flash Gordon.
Well, Harrison Ford's not in Batman.
I know, but William Hookins.
We're gonna. You know what? We should do a podcast about William Hookins because that guy was in every friggin' movie ever made. He was in you name it. He's up there with that other actor who just passed away, the older actor. He was in. He was in Batman. He was in Superman. He was in Star Wars. He was the guy putting Luke's X-Wing. He's like, hey, this R2 unit is a bit beat up. You want a new one? Not in your life. That R2. Whatever. The actor I'm talking about, he's also in Superman along with John Ratzenberger when the astronauts are up there. He goes, oh, it might have been a curl.
What's a curl?
Yeah.
I thought he said girl. That's right.
And then if you watch the Batman Begins, Chris Nolan went and got this actor and put him in the movie. So he's the guy that's running the train as the train's about to crash into Wayne Tower or something like that. It's the same actor, and I can't think of his name. It's like a Scottish name, like McDermott, McSomething, not Dylan McDermott.
No.
But whatever. We are totally off topic.
So let's
we are doing this. Let's go back. Okay,
we're
so
up
Harrison
to 86,
Ford,
87, 88. So
yeah.
86,
Then we have, you know what? We have a movie that I appreciate now as an older guy, but I didn't like as a kid, and that would be Mosquito Coast. I've got the press kit for that because I was in college working on the college newspaper, and we would get press kits in from movies. And the press kit came in for Mosquito Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going through it, and it had River Phoenix, who was just in Stand By Me.
Yes.
And Helen Mirren was the wife. So I went to see that movie. It was a blizzard out here. Again, another one that opened in the winter out here.
Yes.
And again, it's Peter Weir,
Yep.
director, same Witness guy that got together again, based on a book by Paul Theroux. And at the time, again, one of those movies, at the time I watched it, I did not enjoy it. The only movie Harrison Ford died in at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to sneeze. But.
And spoilers, by the way.
I'm sorry if you didn't see the movie. He dies at the end. He dies off camera.
Yeah.
But it was such a dour ending. I was like, I don't like this movie. I don't want to see Harrison Ford die.
Are they remaking? Now, did I read that they're remaking that, or is it a series on something like
Mosquito Coast?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Oh, I don't know if that movie does. Why would you want to go revisit that again?
I don't know, but I remember seeing it and going, it was well made, but it was not for.
He was a bit of an ass in that movie.
Yeah.
His character, Ali Fox.
Yes.
Ali Fox was a jerk. But like I said, now that I've grown old and I'm 54 years old today, I understand Ali Fox a lot more because he just wants to be away from people. And he just wants everything to be just right. Like he wants everything perfect and right angles and all that. And yeah, I could deal, especially right now. I wouldn't mind being a small island in Belize away from everybody God knows it'd be healthy. But we digress. Let's talk Return to Greatness.
Working
We're
Girl?
talking Working
Or we're
Girl.
talking Frantic.
Well, I thought it was Working Girl next.
Well, wasn't Frantic 1987, or was that
No, I thought Frantic was 88. I
the
thought
same
87
year
was
as
Working Girl.
Oh, well, you're probably right. Anyway, Frantic, a great. If you haven't seen it, it's a great thriller.
It is.
It's a bit like a Hitchcock movie. It's good. It's worth seeing.
He was married to the Abby from Eight Is Enough in that movie.
There you go.
She played his wife, Barbara. It's not Barbara Babcock, is it? No, that's the woman from Hill Street Blues.
It wasn't Adam Rich, was it? Dick Van Patten.
Wasn't Dick Van Patten either? No.
That's a shame.
Anyway,
That would have been. No wonder he's frantic.
It's directed by
Roman Polanski.
and it's over in Europe.
Anyway,
naked in that movie for people that want to see that.
That's right. But then came along.
Wait! What was the young lady that was in that movie? She was like a big deal at the time. She was dating Roman Polanski.
Not
Her
Emmanuel
name-
Bart. It was
Emmanuel.
No, it wasn't Emmanuel. I'll put it up on the screen here. Okay, there it is.
Look down
Right
there.
there. That's it.
Oh my God! Look, there it is. And then there's Working Girl with Melanie Griffith and Sigourney Weaver, who was the big deal at the time too, because she was from Aliens and she was from Ghostbusters and Gorillas in the Mist, and there you go. And they were together in that movie.
And that was a huge hit.
Huge. Mike Nichols directed. Yeah.
Yes. I'm not sure if I enjoy. Again, what was I? I was an 18-year-old going to see that film, sort of going, I want a bit more action with Harrison. I liked it.
He was funny.
Oh, he was very funny.
When he's drinking the two drinks at the same time at the wedding scene because he's getting nervous, that's pretty damn funny right there.
That's good. That's worth revisiting as well.
He's in a lot of ties in his movies. You ever notice that Harrison Ford wears a lot of shirt and ties? He's always a business guy or a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer.
Yes.
Or
in fact, you know what we forgot? We skipped over in 1982 where he was going to play the high school teacher in E.T.
Well, he is the high school teacher in E.T. There's a deleted scene where I think all you see is his hand.
Yes.
Because he's escorting.
We knew it was him because he kept doing it. Okay, kids, you're going to dissect the frogs. That's how he did it. That was, I don't know who that was.
He used his nerdy voice. And the reason why is because his wife, or soon-to-be wife at that time, Melissa Matheson, wrote E.T. And they married, and then there you go.
That's right. But anyway,
for a while.
He probably was in a tie then as well.
I believe he was probably. Yeah. Why did they ever say why he got cut out of that? Is there a reason?
I think they were saying because he was too recognizable as Harrison Ford, and that it felt like it detracted from.
But if they had left him in, I always remember mad about that because the top 5 movies of all time at the time were E.T., Star Wars, Raiders, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. He would have been, the actor in top 5 movies of all time. But he was slowly building this track record out of the 10 movies, the top 10 movies. I think he was in like 7 of them at one point. Yep. It was crazy. It's like, hey, if you like that guy, you put your money on the winning horse because he's in the top 10 movies of all time. He was one of the richest actors even then.
Yep.
As far as box office receipts come, it even gets better.
Hugely popular. And then, of course, 89, he said, another Indiana Jones. He goes, do I get to wear a tie in it? And Spielberg goes, yep. So he goes, I'm in. So
I swear that he likes those ties. Yeah. And then after that one, it was regarding Henry.
Yes. Which
he was a lawyer.
And written by J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams, who plays a guy delivering a bag of groceries.
That's right. It was a bit of a weird film. I don't know. Not a weird film. It just sort of, I don't know. I wasn't expecting Harrison Ford in that sort of film. Of course, he gets
That's a Mike Nichols movie too, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
pretty sure.
So random. Yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead to that's Random Hearts. I'm thinking.
I forgot about Random Hearts.
Yeah, there's Random.
That's Sidney Pollack. That's
right.
Yeah.
Later on, so 1990 comes around.
Are we going? We're going right into the 90s. All right.
Well, we've hit 89, so we should go.
Yeah. So 90 would be
Presumed Innocent.
No, I thought it was regarding Henry.
Well, didn't we have? Wasn't presumed innocent 1990?
Look on the bottom for the
Okay.
screen as it
You're
gets the
giving
right
me
information.
more work, Mitch. Come on, I've got to now do.
I used to know all this stuff because I was at the time collecting, because there wasn't a lot of Harrison Ford collectibles, but I would collect all the movie posters because I was a big
Yes.
movie poster guy. I love the artwork. So I would go and whatever movie that was coming out with Harrison Ford, I would get the movie poster. So I was getting them all. I don't think I got the Regarding Henry movie poster, or maybe I got the Sabrina movie. No, Sabrina's 95. I'm
95,
jumping
yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
But
So
let's have a quick pause there. You were saying there wasn't a lot of, like, obviously you could buy Han Solo toys, Indiana Jones toys, and things like that. There wasn't a lot of Harrison Ford stuff. But I do remember as a kid, once Star Wars came out, what can I find out about Harrison Ford? And there were a few books. And my first one that I got by good old Minty Clinch was the this one. It's a little bit worn there. But this was basically, I don't know, did you have that one at all?
I have this one here in my Stalker collection.
Okay,
Harrison Ford story.
well,
right there.
that one, I've got that one, but I've got this version of it here.
Well, there, Ed. I'll top that because I've got this version over here, which is the films of Harrison Ford, which is also a picture from Temple of Doom.
Yes, well, but do you have this one? Harrison Ford
Ed,
includes 8 pages of exciting photographs.
I've got this one here about Harrison Ford, People Magazine.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned your little TV guide there.
Oh, yes.
Let's keep going, Ed. Let's dueling Fords right now. What do you got?
Well, I've got this one, which I would state that pretty much no one has. This is a Croatian magazine from 1986.
Okay, and if I knew we were going to go through Harrison Ford magazines, I could have sat here all day because
I know. But do you have a Croatian one from 1986?
No, Ed, I've got the TV guide here with Harrison Ford. I think this is presumed innocent, maybe because he's got that weird haircut.
Yes, not as weird as he was in Paranoia. But anyway,
what?
Paranoia, the film with Liam Hemsworth that came out.
Oh, Ed, we don't talk about Paranoia, Ed. I was going to say, do you have Life magazine?
I had that
Ford.
somewhere.
Look, Mrs. Steven Spielberg, future Mrs. Spielberg on the cover.
I always felt it was odd
no.
having Indy not having his hat on that cover of Life magazine, but anyway.
Oh, Ed, come on. You know what I did like, though? I did like the fact that – why am I doing that? I did like the fact that I made a habit of going to see every Harrison Ford movie opening day, first day, first show. That was my tradition. It's like whatever it's coming out, I've got to go see first day, first show. Because there wasn't the internet, but I didn't want to get spoiled. I didn't want to read reviews like, oh, that movie sucked. So I would always go see it for myself and had my own opinion on it before somebody else told me what they thought you'd think. But we're going to go into some weird territory now because he's not doing adventure films.
No.
He's not doing science fiction movies at all at this point. He's doing more realistic, real life, romantic stories. He did Presumed Innocent, which was a suspenseful.
That was a huge success.
That was huge, yeah. Bad haircut, but and Brian Dennehy, who just passed away, actually a local guy here, right here in Connecticut. Connecticut's own Brian Dennehy was in that movie. A lot of good actors in that movie. I really like Presumed Innocent. Who's the actor I'm thinking of? He played Gomez Adams. Died very young. Raul Julia.
Yes.
He died very young.
I thought John Aston wasn't in that movie.
No. But he was a good player in that movie. The guy John Spencer, I believe his name is. I think he passed away too. He was the detective or something in that movie that steals the evidence from the room that Bonnie Bedelia played his wife, and she was the murderer. Spoiler alert. So anyway, Presumed Innocent, that was a really, really good Harrison Ford movie back then.
And then just a few years later.
Oh, God, yeah, The Fugitive. That's 1993.
Wait a
minute.
Obviously a huge success. But The Fugitive.
We forgot when he played the president. I think Ed, we're skipping. We're really bad.
Isn't that 95?
You know what? It was 94, 95 because it was in August. It opened on August 8th because I was getting a new job
Yeah.
And I remember coming back from New York. I had just gone to New York for my interview for DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get that job, or I turned it down. But I remember I came home on the train and met my wife, and we went to go see Air Force One. So
Yes.
that was definitely an August movie. I liked Air Force One. It was a fun movie.
Yep.
I remember it didn't get good reviews. I remember Siskel and Ebert, Gene Siskel was all over that. Like, he shouldn't be playing these parts. This is more of a Kurt Russell part. Harrison Ford's better than this. Why is he doing that? I'm like, what's your problem?
It was a huge success.
It was, and I was just surprised at the reaction.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think we skipped over the whole Clear and Present Danger
Oh my
and
gosh.
Patriot Games. That's
Of
where we're
course,
missing,
yes.
because Baldwin was Jack Ryan, and then he was out.
Yes.
And then Patriot Games, and I'm going to say Patriot Games was 92 or 91. And then
right.
we had the sequel, Clear and Present Danger. And then we had Sabrina in the middle. Sabrina was 95, because I pointed this out the other day. They filmed a scene in that movie in Martha's Vineyard where I got engaged, because I remember being on the payphone, which is behind Julia Ormond and Harrison Ford. They're on a street corner talking about he purchased a halfway house. And the phone booth behind them is the phone booth I used to call my parents to say that we had just gotten engaged. So whenever Sabrina's on, I stop. I go, look, right there. That's where we got engaged.
I
right
thought you were
that
going to say, I proposed to Sharon at that telephone booth, because that's
no. I got engaged on a merry-go-round, not dead heat, but on a merry-go-round in Martha's Vineyard, and the country's oldest operating merry-go-round. I gave my wife an engagement ring, and then that night we had dinner with Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he in the restaurant at the time?
He was at the table next to us,
and
we were having our celebration dinner, and she had her ring, and he's like, and he was very drunk and inebriated. He's like, "What's going on? What are you celebrating?" So we just go, "Oh, you got to get out! Come on, get a round of drinks." Just got engaged, so it was cool.
That's good.
So I also met Walter Cronkite that weekend too.
Wow.
And we were staying down the street from Mike Nichols and his wife Diane Sawyer. It's all full circle, Ed.
It is. So
Restraining order.
So
where are we now?
Fugitive was huge with Tommy Lee Jones.
But we've yet to hit a Harrison Ford bomb.
Okay.
I mean, he's been hitting him out of the park. I mean, even regarding Henry, might not have been a blockbuster, but it was, it was decent.
Yeah.
But there's yet to be a stumble. There's yet to be a fall, because we've had The Fugitive. We've had those Jack Ryan movies. We had the Air Force One movie.
Yes.
We had Presumed Innocent. These, none of these are terrible. No one's really saying,
okay.
You're not. This is where.
All I'm going to say is, a little bit later on, I was like you. I would go to every Harrison Ford film I could. Unfortunately, fast forward into the 2000s.
You can't fast forward.
I'm just saying,
you had 6 days and 7 nights. You got all those.
No, I haven't got to it yet. I'm just saying that streak for me was broken in the 2000s. However, I was still seeing films like 6 Days and 7 Nights, which I quite enjoyed. It was,
I did
a bit of a screwball romantic comedy. The Devil's Own with Brad Pitt, and that was 97, I think. That was okay.
98, 97.
Around then. There was.
It's okay. I mean,
I don't think it was a big hit though.
It was not a big hit.
I remember going. So he's starting to hit a bit of a slump. In 2000, Robert Zemeckis brought along What Lies Beneath, where Harrison Ford was.
You forgot Hollywood Homicide, Ed.
Was that 90? Was that 99?
That was just. I don't know when it was, but it was a bad movie. It was bad. He was riding a bike down the street. Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was bad, Ed.
I don't think it was that. I thought it was okay. It was.
Again, no one could fault Harrison Ford. He was his charming self, but the story did not service him well.
That's right.
That's
right.
That.
So that I do remember being a box office disappointment.
What Lies Beneath was a great movie.
Yes.
Co-written by Clark Gregg from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
There you go. Who we've had on the IndieCast.
Clark Gregg was also in a bit part in Clear and Present Danger.
And was also.
Along with Sam Jackson.
Who was also in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. playing
And Thomas Edison's assistant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So
It's the Clark Gregg Show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Greg Clark, and this is the Clark Gregg Show. So we've got what we've got after that is that was a big hit. What Lies Beneath, and then
a mixed bag of cats.
What? We hit a bit of
a mixed bag, and I just thought, what would be
right.
in a bag that would be a mess? A bunch of cats.
We sort of have a bit of a bad run of films for Harrison Ford. What about the biggest box office flop, I think, of his career, unfortunately, which was Paranoia, which made like $27, I think, in its opening weekend.
You know what?
That's because he had his shaved head.
That's the only Harrison Ford movie I never saw in the theaters.
Get out of here. What? Really?
I didn't even bother.
Wow.
Gary Oldman,
yes,
Thor's little brother,
yes,
and Harrison Ford with a shaved head. I eventually saw it on cable TV. I was like, I'm not going to see that. And it was not my fault. It only played for about a week.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. It only played for about a week.
Yeah.
It didn't open long. It was just, and it's not a good movie. I don't even think I sat through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Harrison Ford. I don't think he's home listening to this. I don't think he cares what the hell we think. So anyway, between you and I,
Mr. Ford, if you are watching this, we'd love to have you on. We've both met you. So,
I'm blinking. Yes, I'm blinking. SOS. He knows me. I'm the guy that took the camera backwards and took a picture of his eye in 1999 at the Riverkeeper dinner.
Yeah.
Which is another story. Anyway, have we caught up to his return to greatness yet?
Well, of course, there was, Ender's Game, which wasn't the hit that it had hoped.
I forgot about Ender's Game. Again, supporting role. He's not the star of that movie.
Morning Glory, which was quite a fun film.
Patrick Wilson and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. That was
again supporting role. He's funny in that. I don't think he's the star. I think she is, but go ahead.
Blade Runner 2049.
I love that movie.
Yep, but
he's not a big part in. No,
wasn't a hit.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I'm not.
Listen here, box office Dollister. It's not all about the money all the time. Well, yeah, it is.
It is. It is anyway. So
then we have. Are we on to Crystal Skull? Have we made it through yet?
We've spoken about Crystal
We're
Skull.
all over the place.
I know. It was a huge hit, Crystal Skull.
Let me see. What have we forgotten here? Devil's Own.
I was going to talk about. Then he obviously returned for The Force Awakens. What do we miss?
More American Graffiti. You forgot that part.
I think everyone forgot More American Graffiti. Come on.
Yes, he returned as. No, I was going to go more about Indiana Jones.
Oh, if you want to. Yeah.
Well, what do you mean you want to? That was a great return. They filmed it right here.
He's right here. He's listening. He's listening.
13 years ago, they filmed it right down the street here in my town of Connecticut at New Haven. I got to see him. I got to see Spielberg, Lucas. I walked on the set. I got in trouble with the Paramount executives. We started the Indie cast because of Harrison Ford. The only reason why you and I are even talking to each other is because of that guy right there with the hat. And
that's true.
I don't know why you have that realistic death mask of him there. Is that a real mold of his face?
Just what I do with this is just between him and me. So no, it's a mask. It's an official Harrison Ford mask from Lucasfilm from back in.
Wait, they made that?
Yeah, 1994.
Lucasfilm made that.
Well, it says. Let's have a look. I'm sure it says Lucasfilm on here.
Anybody watching this? No.
Copyright Lucasfilm. All rights reserved.
I had no idea what the hell that is. That is very scary. That's like that Michael Myers movie where the Halloween pictures where he wears the William Shatner mask.
Yeah. Well, I've got
that
one of
mask.
You. I've got one of you just off camera here. Do you want me to get it?
I was going to say next time they do a movie about a serial killer, that they could wear that mask.
That's right.
So are we up to Force Awakens? Because I believe there were some movies in between there.
So Force Awakens, Harrison Ford comes back.
Yeah.
Huge film.
And they-
$1 million.
And they
added-
kill him. And they kill him.
Spoilers, but yes, they did. They did. But not
I-
really, because he does come back. In your
Oh, spoiler
favorite
alert!
movie.
Ruined that movie, Ed. But no,
In your
he died.
favorite movie, he comes back in The Rise of Skywalker, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it was. Hey, I love seeing him in that movie. I remember the whole theater just did a gasp when you heard his sound, like, "Hey, kid," and there he was. And
Yes.
go, how much money did that cost?
It was worth it, though. It's always worth it. Oh, it's not about the money, is it? Come on, Mitch.
Oh, I'm sorry. When we're talking about Star Wars, I think the reason why he was there is because his friend and everyone's favorite princess, Miss Carrie Fisher, had passed away.
Yes.
I believe. I don't know. I don't have any proof of this, but I wish they would verify it. I believe that scene was supposed to be between Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia and her son,
Yes.
Kylo Ren, because she was trying to last ditch attempt to get the good that was left in him and
Yes,
turn him to the good side. But unfortunately, she passed away, so they called Harrison Ford to do it. That's the only reason why I think he's in that movie.
Yep.
That's my theory. Prove me wrong, Ed. So,
I'm not. I think that could be. That seems plausible.
but then
So,
you forgot, Ed, Secret Lives of Pets Part 2.
I didn't see Secret Lives of Pets Part 2. So
I did, Ed. He's the voice of a dog named Duke.
Yep.
I like dogs. Everybody knows I like dogs. I had 2 dogs. Indiana, my dog Indiana, and Harley now.
Yeah.
Chocolate Lab. Like dogs. Harrison Ford kind of looks like a dog now and then, but that's another story. He has dog-like qualities.
His jowls.
In between these movies,
Yeah.
he's flying airplanes, helicopters, and
Yeah.
crash landing on golf courses and all that
Yes.
stuff there.
He's
And
had some
then-
scares. And then his last film. Are we up to?
Wait.
What?
There's nothing. Wait, there's Force Awakens.
Yeah.
There's nothing in between there. That maybe it's the dog movie.
I think it was Secret Life. Oh, and he had cameos in Expendables 3.
Oh, Expendables 3.
4.
Yeah.
There was Anchorman 2, where it was just shot
Anchorman 2. Yeah, he was funny in that thing. That was a
just
freaking movie.
shot on green screen, sort of thing. It was like a one-day sort of thing.
He just
But
picked up the check. Yeah, and then I guess we are up to now, right?
yep, and his most recent film, Call of the Wild, which I haven't seen yet. Unfortunately, just as it was in cinemas just as we were going into lockdown.
It was the
and-
last movie I saw before the quarantine.
Yep.
Yep. My wife and I saw it. First day, first show. I was back to my old fighting form
good.
because I said we're going to see that. It was like a date movie,
Yes.
and we went to see it. And I think a week or 2 later, they closed all the theaters, not because of this movie. It's because of the COVID-19.
Yes,
Is
yes.
it? But I've already got it on home video because I got it for a birthday present.
Oh, good.
Uh,
And
it's a good movie. It's based
like
on
a good family movie.
It is. It's a good family movie. A couple scenes there they definitely filmed on a sound stage, which are a little distracting. And the guy that plays the dog, because it's a CGI dog, is like a Circus du Soleil got a acrobat guy with ping pong balls all over him. That is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I think, as we all know, being on the IndieCast for almost 13 years,
Yeah.
he was due to start filming the 5th and final Indiana Jones movie
Well,
right
that's
now.
if you look at IMDb, that's all he's got on his slate next is Untitled Indiana Jones Project for 2022.
If COVID-19 did not happen, I believe he would have done this. And I don't know what his plans are. I think he might have retired. I think he might have just done what Sean Connery did. Granted, Sean Connery did it on League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is not a great movie. I thought it was okay. It's
I
pretty
liked
fun.
it.
I know. So did I. But it wasn't.
Yep. Yeah.
I wouldn't go out on that if I was Sean Connery. I
No.
would have done maybe one more big role, even a voiceover.
Yes.
But no, I honestly think Indiana Jones 5 would have been Harrison Ford by choice, not because Hollywood doesn't want him. I think that would have been his last movie, and I think it would have been a fitting end
Mm-hmm.
to his characters because he's killed off Han Solo. Rick Deckard came back in Blade Runner 2049. Indiana Jones wrapped that story up. I don't think he wants to wrap up John Book. Maybe John Book calls, I can't see because I have the cataracts. But,
I think he's closed the book on that character. So
maybe he could do Frisco. Well, Gene Wilder's gone now. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, see,
the Frisco adult. He could do that. That could be it. I don't know.
but okay, so we've spanned the whole career in Harrison Ford. It took a lot long. I think it took as long as his career
Oh my
went.
gosh. Yeah,
We
that's
missed a
right.
couple movies here and there. Uh, favorite movies, real quick, because that's what we were supposed to do. I
I
thought
know. I would say,
the
look,
homework assignment was to do our favorite movies, not a
well,
retrospective.
as a teacher, I can change the outcome. I can change what the
Okay.
assessment is. Obviously, Star Wars and the Indiana Jones
Yes.
movies are up there.
My top Harrison Ford movies.
Yep.
Yes.
For me, and this is just because I love that time period when he was just out of Star Wars. Force 10 from Navarone. He's not a leading role; it's more of an ensemble
Supporting.
role,
Yeah.
but he's fantastic in that. I love The Fugitive. That's a great cracker of an action movie as well. The first Patriot Games I thought is really good.
Mhm.
I don't mind the second one, but I feel like the first film just captured something of that old Harrison Ford I really like. And I love The Conversation. He's not really, it's not really a Harrison Ford movie, but it's a great movie overall. And The Frisco Kid, if it's available. I've got it on DVD. I don't know if it's probably in America available on some streaming.
I think I had it somewhere.
It's a really fun, a two-hander really with Gene Wilder and who's a comic genius. Harrison Ford holds his own. He's a comic genius.
No, what the hell's a two-hander?
Well, you have two people in it. It's like a play with two people, two-hander.
Why did they call him? Why did you say two hands though?
A two-hander.
Yeah.
There's two people. Two.
So why did you say there's two?
It's just chock.
What do their hands have to do? Wait. What is this colloquialism? What does that mean? What's a one-hander?
That's just one person in it.
So why don't you just say one person? A solo movie.
No, that's with
what does their hands have to do with it?
That's a whole different Star Wars movie. Don't worry, we're not talking about that anymore. It's all fine. We'll do our colloquialisms between what's the difference between Australia and America.
That'll be a
12-part series coming up.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
So
yeah, that's your top five.
They were mine. What were yours?
Mine were Raiders because I had homework.
Yeah, mine's up here. Yeah.
Raiders, Star Wars, Witness, Blade Runner, Mosquito Coast.
Hang on.
And I actually forgot all about The Fugitive, but I don't even have The Fugitive on my list. I forgot about
homework.
I forgot about the Air Force One thing too.
Yeah.
Then I had my mediocre ones. No,
Yeah.
Not mediocre, but the next level down was Force 10 from Navarone, Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
Call of the Wild, Sabrina.
Yeah.
And then my bottom ones.
Yes.
The worst ones that you reminded me. I forgot a couple of them. I had Hollywood Homicide, Firewall, The Devil's Own, and the worst Harrison Ford movie.
Yeah. Hanover Street.
Yeah.
I've got that. Actually, I've got that. I forgot to bring it out, but I've got a DVD 2-pack of Force 10 from Navarone and Hanover Street.
I got a double pack. They came out with them too. It was Frantic and
Presumed Innocent, I think.
Maybe, yeah. It was a weird thing. It was like 2 for $5. Yeah. It was a double pack. I'm like,
it's a two-hander. So there you go.
Anyway, so we did. So before we wrap it up, do we want to do any Harrison Ford merchandise? Not that we have any.
No.
Oh, okay. No.
Yep.
We didn't. I want you to talk about this because here's the deal. My friend Matt Herring doesn't like Harrison Ford. My wife, after 27 years of marriage, she's upstairs. Harrison Ford's on TV. We're watching, I don't know, Last Crusade or something. Mm-hmm. And she says to me, and it's all quiet, and it might be the quarantine talking. It might be us just being along too long. She says, he's not a very good actor. Oh, Ed. Irreconcilable differences. Get the lawyers on the phone now. I'm like, just pull the stake from my heart. For God's sakes, woman. You see all this stuff here. You've met the guy with me. You were there when I took a picture of my eye. We've dealt with the restraining orders. I mean, how could you say that? And she's like, well, he's not. He's just, he's not really like. I go, well, who's a good actor? And she goes, well, like, Keanu Reeves or Richard Gere. I go, no. You're confusing sex appeal with acting. But I will say this. It's like that scene in that line from My Favorite Year. When Alan Swan says to the young man, he goes, I'm not an actor. I'm a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between an actor and a movie star. For me, I think Harrison Ford's the best of both worlds. I think he is a good actor, very capable, pulls off, he does his job. He's funny, he's exciting and all that. And he's also a movie star, and that means he's in big movies that bring people in the audience because they come to expect a certain level. So that's a movie star. And that's what I think the secret of his success is, because he's bit of both. Yep. He's the actor and he's the movie star in one, and that's why you get all the success. And a lot of other people have pulled it off. Sam Jackson's pulled that one off. Stallone did it for a while. Tom Cruise definitely can do it. I'm not going to say Schwarzenegger because he's more of a movie star. He's not an actor.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is more of an actor than a movie star, but he's kind of a bit of both too. He's got it there going. There's only a handful of people that could still pull it off. Robert Redford was good at that. Paul Newman was good at that. I guess De Niro was more of an actor than a movie star because I think he's been in a lot of really well done movies and a good actor, but they've not been box office hits.
Sure.
But I don't think anybody's come close to Harrison Ford. Maybe Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And maybe Tom Hanks. Those are the next guys that are like, runners up. What do you think? Johnny Depp, maybe?
Well, he's had his box office hits, but he's also done some interesting, like smaller projects. So it's
Well, do you think of him as an actor or as a movie star? And that means they get to a certain point where they really.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard because when you sort of think movie stars also are the ones who embrace the publicity and things like that, and certainly Harrison Ford, he's better at it now. I think doing those talk shows and things like that. But he's still a private individual. Whereas there's those other movie stars that, when you think of those old days, where they'd be on the red carpet, they'd be schmoozing.
The Dinah Shore show, the Johnny Carson show. Yeah. He was not one of those guys.
No.
It was always fun. It was always fun to see him though.
Yeah.
When Harrison Ford would show up on a David Letterman show or whatever, it was always fun to watch because he was very rare on those programs. But when he was hysterical.
Yes.
Whether he was enhanced or whatever.
That's why we love Harrison Ford. I think he's got he's just got such a wide body of work, but with some, not many other actors, if any, have got those iconic roles as well.
Right.
And again, the thing that shows that he's a good actor, because it's not Harrison Ford in Star Wars, in Indiana Jones, Blade Runner. It's Han Solo. It's Indiana Jones. It's Rick Deckard. They're totally different characters.
It's not like John Wayne. When John Wayne was in a movie, it was John Wayne. It was like, how you doing? Yeah. I'm in Rio Lobo. I'm in Rio Bravo. I'm in Rio. Blame it on Rio
de Janeiro. How did I get here?
It's the same movie. I'm going to be in the sands of Iwo Jima. Tomorrow I'm in whatever. Yeah, he became, no offense, William Shatner. It's this William Shatner now. It's not an actor anymore. It's William Shatner. Yes. They become a person like Robert De Niro is not an actor anymore. It's Robert De Niro.
Yes.
Yeah, Pacino too. He used to be a great actor. Now it's this. He's become like an impersonator of himself. When you see him, you're like, it's the same guy. Yep. Keanu Reeves is very good. He could do both. He's a very good actor, and he's the movie star guy. But again, very private guy, doesn't go into the limelight. And I think that's what helps, because when you see them too much, maybe you start to notice that they're not acting and that's them on screen. Like Robert Downey Jr. seems to almost be the same guy all the time, but he's very private, doesn't come out much. And I think he's holding back. You don't want to see him all the time. I see Tom Hanks like on a talk show every other week. And after a while I go, he's just Tom Hanks now. It's just like, he's become the generic portrayal, So I don't know if any of that makes sense. Then what do we know?
That's all right. Did you ever? The only piece of interesting, it's not really Harrison Ford movie. I mean, it's the only thing I had. I don't know if you've seen these before. This is from This is. Do you have show bags? You know when you go to the fair or whatever, and like the county fair. I don't know what. I'm just pulling stuff
A
out of
county fair.
Yeah.
And what do you
they
get?
have-
Like cotton candy, Harrison Ford?
So they have. Well, they've got show bags. So there's this one from.
Oh no, we don't have that here.
From 1989, and what you do, you get this, and you got in here some Harrison Ford Indiana Jones blaster balls. You got some
I don't know about that last thing there.
splat balls.
You
balls.
got a lot
Sorry.
of balls there, Ed.
He does. Well, he's got you've got some Indiana Jones spider web with spider.
Wait, so you would go to the movie and they would hand that to you?
No, you go to the fair, like
What
you got
fair?
a wall walker. You get a Indiana Jones
You wouldn't get those. You'd have to buy those, wouldn't you?
in it. No, it comes in the bag. An Indiana
Yeah, but
Jones.
why are they handing you? Why are they handing you this bag as you enter the fair?
No, just hang on. And an Indiana Jones watch. There we go.
What the hell? No, I've never seen anything
Oh,
like
so
that.
when you go to the show, like the Royal Melbourne show or something like that here, they have
Yeah.
show bags. So they used to pay like $10, $12 and you'd get a show bag and they'd have different themes and things like that. They'd have lollies in one, they'd have that.
Wait, well, they have a what now?
Lollies, candy.
Oh,
Right?
okay, like lollipops.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to say, one year,
That were
this
created
was
in New
probably
Haven.
1986. They
Yeah.
had Star Wars show bags for like $12, and in them was about 10 carded Star Wars figures from the last.
Really?
one. Yep.
They
Because
gave
were on,
away Star Wars
they were on-
toys,
yeah. So you pay $12 and you get 12. It was ridiculous. Anyway,
but it was the end of the line, right?
yeah, it was. So that's my little one there, and I'm just putting him here just so we can say.
Get those ratings up.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Well, I was gonna say real quick.
Yeah.
You ever see this?
Now, we didn't get them in Australia, but I have seen them online. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, there's a couple movies you can get. The Jaws, Superman, only the good ones, and
Yep.
there's no Harrison Ford. Why
Revenge
do-
of the Pink
The
Panther.
Pink Panther. I knew you'd say that. So I bought this, and I said, "Geez, I only want one.
Yep.
I don't want the Revenge of the Pink Panther." I'm like, "Please let it be." And sure enough, it is one of my favorite Harrison Ford movies. There we go. It's the
That
Star
is
Wars.
cool.
Isn't that cool? It's a little tiny one sheet,
That's
Look at
really
that.
cool.
and there was that. So that was one of my old time memories. This came out in 1981.
Okay.
Why they didn't do Raiders, I don't know. They have Airplane on here for some
Yeah.
reason. Airplane. And then I was going to say we've
Flying
talked
high in
before.
Australia.
We talked before about meeting Harrison Ford, and as a
Yes.
kid, I drew a great picture of Harrison Ford because he was my favorite guy, and I won an award for it in school. And my mom would write letters to everybody. She sent a copy of it off to Harrison Ford. I don't know how she got the address, but we got this letter in the mail, and it was in another envelope. But there's my name on it,
Mitchell
and
Howard.
then this is Harrison Ford Stationery.
Yes.
And it comes in there, and then there's a letter from his assistant, and Harrison likes the artwork very much. Thank you so much. He's attached a photo. He thinks you're very talented, yada, yada, yada. But they would send you, and I got a couple of these. You'd get the studio
Yeah.
where you sign Harrison Ford, and then there's one from Indy, and then there's another one from Indy.
Yeah.
So I never got to meet him until 1999 in New York. I mentioned before we were at a fundraiser for Robert Kennedy Jr., Riverkeeper, and there you can see right there, there's Harrison talking to somebody right
Yep.
there. And there I am. Look at me, young
Oh, there I
svelte
was.
looking
Yeah.
guy. Look at that.
Stalking him in the background.
Talking him there, and I've got in my hand, I've got a marker,
Yeah.
and I've got a Sharpie, and I go up to him, and voila, there it is,
it
the
is.
Harrison Ford beating up a Nazi, and I had that in my pocket, and he signed it, and that is my favorite Harrison Ford memorabilia, whatever you want to call it, trophy.
That's
And,
awesome.
and plus, there's all this stuff. There's the
Of
statues and
course.
of his characters. There's the Indiana Jones and lunch boxes.
Yes.
I mean, this guy's got his face on more stuff than I'd say any other actor. You know,
I think you're probably right. There's
Funko Pops. We've even got dinnerware in case you want to come over. We've got the
that's it.
Indiana Jones dishes. You could eat off of them.
Yeah.
How many actors can you eat off of them? Yeah.
Right. Well,
And even we've even got versions of his old self. Look at this. You've got old Harrison Ford. I mean,
yes.
he's merchandising himself as an old man.
Yeah.
So there you go. Funko Pop. So that's my Harrison Ford stuff, and I'm sticking to it. Very good actor, born July 13th,
Yes.
1942. And that's it, really.
And let's hope he's got many more years ahead of him, many more fantastic movies, appearances, and yeah, if what I would recommend on the 13th of July, his birthday, why not this weekend go watch a indie film? Go watch one of those Harrison Ford movies we spoke about. Maybe something you didn't know. You're always going to get some entertainment out of watching it, except maybe paranoia.
Or go on YouTube and watch interviews with Harrison Ford because they're hysterical.
That is absolutely right.
I mean, you can get him doing some fun stuff, especially the Conan O'Brien ones. If you're going to watch him, Conan O'Brien, he's nuts on those shows.
Right. That's right.
So there you go. Look, and we got our shirts on.
Yeah, we do. So
that's it
for this week's episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the show. Tell your friends about it, which is great. Also, from me to you, Mitch, happy birthday. This is your birthday today. So I hope you have a fantastic day. And I appreciate you spending a little bit of time talking about Harrison Ford on this day. But it's great talking about Harrison Ford any day.
Absolutely, yeah. And then his birthday's on Monday, and traditionally he comes over the house that no one knows about, and we get like an ice cream cake because he likes the little chocolate crunchies.
Yeah.
And we just sit there and we just watch Hanover Street, and we eat the ice cream cake and watch it melt. Yeah, every year.
We recorded this a little bit later, we could have all had him on, but that's all right. Say hi for me.
I will.
Signing off. This is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck.
And you've been watching Mitch and Ed's Excellent
Adventure.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.